Warning, this episode contains adult language, mature situations, die-hard Sega fanboy isekai protagonists in the modern world, nephews dealing with insanity, childhood friends who can't get a break, home movies of an isekai world, sundry elves, and the troubles of being a YouTuber. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Listener discretion is advised. Spiraken Manga Review, episode 490, Uncle from Another World. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, some podcasts and vague reviews about connecting enhanced narratives. I'm your host Zan, saying konnichiwa, aloha, buongiorno, and what's up? Hope all of you are doing well out there and hope you're excited for another fun-filled episode of this awesome podcast. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And with that in mind, let's actually get to the review of the episode. Because if you remember from that last episode, I spun that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga. And it dictated to me that I'm reviewing a manga that was written by Hotondoshindeiru and published by Kadokawa Shoten. Now, this is released over here by Yen Press. It was originally released in Comic Walker magazine. It is a sentence series that is a comedy fantasy isekai that debuted in 2018 and is still coming out now, and there is 8 volumes. And the series is simply known as Isekai Oji-san, or Uncle from Another World. And while, yes, this is another isekai, this is very different than the last two we talked about, because one, it's not a tournament arc, and two, it does something very different that works really well. And as opposed to Exo Driver, which had us in the real world watching the isekai happen and just dealing with the people who are watching it, this one works a little better in that nature. But let's actually get to the actual premise of the manga itself. So this is the story of Takafumi Taoka. He is a young man whose family's been kind of in a bit of a, well, they broke apart because his uncle, Yosuke Shibazaki, ended up in a coma for 17 years. And because he was in a coma, a lot of financial problems happened and his family broke apart. And it's his responsibility to go to his uncle, who's now woken up, and tell him, well, one, the family is done and he needs to find alternative means because they can't afford to take care of him. And when he goes to meet his uncle, who he's never really talked to, his uncle is speaking a gibberish language, and he seems confused as to what's going on. After a couple of minutes, we find out the truth, that his uncle, Yosuke Shibazaki, ended up being isekai to another world after he was hit by Truck-kun. And his body was kept on our world in a coma. So he spent 17 years in another world where he was treated completely horribly. He was mistaken for an orc because he's not a pretty guy, and he's had a lot of just messed up things happen. And he's spent 17 years dealing with that, and now he's back in our world, and he's just trying to acclimate. And at first, when he tells Takafumi this, Takafumi's like, what the hell's wrong with you? There's no way this is real. You're just a crazy old man. So you know what? We can get you a home somewhere where they can watch you and take care of you. However, Uncle, which we're going to call Yosuke now, just Uncle ends up saying some words in the gibberish language. It doesn't work, but then he starts speaking in Japanese and does a spell. So he has magic powers. So Takafumi's like, oh, you have magic powers, and you know what? We can make some money off this. Why don't you move in with me and I'll take care of you? So he ends up taking care of his uncle, who makes money as a YouTuber by using his quote-unquote magic powers to do different events and then doing Let's Plays and other things. And Yosuke is kind of crazy because he's been in another world for 17 years in his head. But in reality, he's still that 17-year-old boy who is obsessed with Sega and the culture of the 2000s. And he's crazy obsessed trying to find out everything about the Sega Genesis, the Sega Saturn, how the console wars ended, and various other elements while trying to acclimate with the current time period, which he's very confused by a lot of stuff that goes on. But Takafumi helps him out with that. And it's their story as they go through doing little antics, but more importantly than that, it's about Uncle showing him the past because he learns a spell to show his past, and it looks almost like a DVD screen, and he could show everything that happens. And there's a bunch of misconceptions that occurred in the other world. For example, he talks about that there was this elf girl that treated him horribly, that stole his money and was really mean to him. And when he shows the image to Takafumi realizes that this elf girl that Uncle rescued has a huge crush on him, but she's a tsundere, or a girl who acts really mean and then she's really cute on the side. So Uncle thinks that she's harassing him, but she's flirting with him, and he doesn't realize that, and it's pretty bad. There's another girl later on that same problem happens where she's flirting with him, but he doesn't realize it, and his nephew has to kind of like, are you stupid? You can't point this out. Meanwhile, Uncle, while he can't figure out his own romantic interests, is able to see that Takafumi's friend Sumika, who shows up, who has a huge crush on him, and he realizes that she has a crush on him, and how stupid are you for not realizing this thing? And Sumika's friend-zoned by Takafumi. So this is, it's kind of hard to talk about this because it is a comedy series where it's very, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and here's an event where he's going to live stream, but he's going to use his power to look like the elf girl. So while he thinks that he's live streaming a video game, all the guys are looking at this hot elf chick, and they're focusing on that, and that's why his subscriber numbers go up. Or in this episode, or this volume, he's dealing with the fact that YouTube is going to cut him off because he doesn't have enough subscribers, so he has to talk to subscribers, even though he's horrible at it. And that is what Uncle from Another World is. It's a very unique isekai that focuses on two aspects. First off, it's bookended by what's happening in the present with all the little incidents that occur. For example, him flying off to get a Sega Saturn and not pay shipping by flying to the location and coming back to pick it up. Or him dealing with all the modern technologies, or the fact that Sega no longer exists, it's now a third party, and him trying to get all of his old glory, and also him doing a bunch of YouTube events. And this book ends him looking back on the past and showing his nephew, and then eventually Sumika, what happened in the past with his power to project his memories of what happened. Now note, some of it he doesn't remember because he has a spell that will help him wipe out his own memories because it is so traumatic. Because, like I said, when he first showed up, they thought he was an orc, so they abused him, they tortured him, and he's dealing with all of these kind of bad situations, so he would just, instead of thinking about it, he wiped his own memory to deal with it. So it's him dealing with that in the past and the present, and it's a fascinating read that's a lot of fun, just how silly and ridiculous it is, but also seeing how he misunderstands some elements, but he's able to picture other elements is kind of fascinating and fun. Also, him being super edgelordy and quoting video games and making these statements which are truly profound and says, I learned that from Pio Pio, the video game. You're like, wait, what? It's a very interesting element to it. Now, compared to the other two isekais that we talked about recently, the first one is rough. I'll be honest right now. Comparing it to Exo Driver, this has some similarities to Exo Driver with the fact that you're a participant watching what happens through someone else's eyes. However, the difference is that unlike that one where it just shows small snippets and then it goes back to the audience just talking about it, this one, it focuses on the whole story of what's going on, and you hear his elements and his thoughts about it. And it comes across much better than Exo Driver did, or X Driver did. And then, obviously, this is different than the weakest contestant in all-time space because this isn't a tournament arc. This is someone who's come back from an isekai world and him dealing with that situation. And this is a really fun story. I gotta admit, there's some great elements to it, and it's just a really unique story that having a main protagonist who's an uncle makes it just, I don't know, a little more fun. It's very different. And seeing him, how he doesn't understand certain situations because he never knew it, like the whole tsundere situation between him and the tsundere elf, a.k.a., I think her real name is Suzogirizerezengalneves. Yeah, she has a very long name. But seeing the elf girl, like, just, she totally is being nice to him, but he doesn't realize it because he's just so jaded on everything going on, is a bit fascinating. Now, is this amazing and the best thing ever? Not really. I've seen this done better. I've seen isekais done better, but this is a fun read. It's something a little different, but you don't have to read this. Now, this is being released as an anime on Netflix. However, due to a certain reason, the anime is postponed. I think the entire studio got COVID, so there are only 8 episodes up. But the anime is a faithful adaptation of this manga. They changed some things around, but overall, it is it's a good adaptation to it. But we're talking about the manga, and is this manga worth reading? Yeah, it's worth reading. Is it amazing? Not really. It's fun. I would have to give this a gift from your crazy Aunt Muriel, our middle of the ground review. So a gift from your crazy Aunt Muriel, it's okay, but in the end, it's forgettable. The premise of it being that he got hit by Truck Coup and then he wakes up is new and novel, and it is a fun read, but once you're done reading it, there's not much else to it. It's not one you're going to want to revisit, because there are little anecdotal stories, but there's not much else going on with it. And for that reason, I have to give this our middle of the ground rating. Now, if you've read Uncle from Another World or watched the anime and you have different thoughts, email me at zan@spiraken.com or tweet me at Spiraken. Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this or not, or if I did not hit the mark, let me know. And so with that, let's actually get to the manga releases for the week, and these are the ones that came out September 20th, 2022. We have 70 new titles this week, and I've got to admit there's a lot of crazy ones and a lot of insane ones. So let's get to this. So for this week, here's what was released. First off, we have Seventh Time Loop. The villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy, Volume 1. 86, Volume 3, the manga. A Sister's All You Need, Volume 13, the light novel. Alice in Borderland, Volume 3. Anti-Romance, Volume 1, the special edition. Baccano, Volume 20, the light novel, still going on. Banished from the Hero's Party, I Decided to Live a Quiet Life in the Countryside, Volume 3. Beastars, Volume 20. Blue Period, Volume 9. Bottom Tier Character Tomozaki, Volume 8.5, the light novel. This is the short stories one, so check that out. Bungo Stray Dogs, Juan, Volume 3. Chain Soldier, Volume 2. Chitose is in the Ramune Bottle, Volume 2. Cafe Moon, Volume 1. Combatants Will Be Dispatched, Volume 7. Crazy Food Truck, Volume 2. Data Live, Volume 7. Dead Mount Death Play, Volume 8. Dragon and Ceremony, Volume 3, the light novel. Embrace Your Size. Golden Kamui, Volume 27. Hayat, the Combat Butler, Volume 40. Yes, this series is still coming out. Heaven's Original Official Blessing, Cheng Guan Chifu, the novels, Volume 4 and Volume 5. I Kept Pressing the 100 Million Year Button and came out on top, Volume 1, the manga. I'm a behemoth and S-ranked monster, but mistaken for a cat. I live as an elf girl's pet, Volume 5. In the Land of Letterly, Volume 2. I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level, Volume 13, the manga. Yes, that is still coming out. Kaiju Girls, Carmelise, Volume 6. Kakeguru, Compulsive Gambler, Volume 15. Laid Back Camp, Volume 12. Look Back, the manga. Magi Record, Puella Magi Madoka Magica Side Story, Volume 5. Magical Girl Raising Project, Volume 14, the light novel. Maison Ikoku, Collector's Edition, Volume 9. Mons Taboo, Volume 2. Nights with a Cat, Volume 2. No matter how I look at it, it's your guys' fault that I'm not popular, Volume 20. A lot of Volume 20s this week, I've noticed. Play It Cool Guys, Volume 4, the manga. ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, The Frozen Bond, Volume 2, which is the prequel. Sasuke and Peeps, Volume 1 of the manga and Volume 2 of the light novel. Sensei's Pious Lie, Volume 4. Seraph at the End, Volume 25. She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat, Volume 1. She Professed Herself Pupil of the Wise Man, Volume 6. So I'm a Spider, So What? The Daily Life of the Komoko Sisters, Volume 4. So What's Wrong with Being Reborn as a Goblin, Volume 1. This one I've been waiting for. I've heard good things about this one. It's a very unique isekai that's a little different. Solo Leveling, Volume 5. Spy Classroom, Volume 4, the light novel. Spy X Family, Volume 8. Studio Chizu's Bell manga. Yes, the adaptation of the amazing film Bell. Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, Volume 1, the light novel. Suppose a kid from the last Dungeon Boonies moved to a starter town, Volume 10 of the light novel. The Abandoned Empress, Volume 3. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, Volume 4, light novel. The Eminence in Shadow, Volume 5, the manga. The Executioner and Her Way of Life, Volume 1. The Executioner and Her Way of Life, Volume 5. The Geek X Hitman, Volume 2. The Itaten Deities Know Only Peace, Volume 3. The Irregulars at Magic High School, Volume 20, the light novel. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Volume 10 has finally been released. The Otherworldly Exploring the Dungeon, Volume 3, light novel. This is Screwed Up, but I Was Reincarnated as a Girl in Another World, manga, Volume 3. Though I am inept villainous, Tales of the Butterfly Rat Body Swap in the Maiden's Court, Volume 1 has finally been released. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, Volume 16. Torture Princess Fremd Torture Chen, Volume 9, the light novel. Wandering Witch, The Journey of Elena, Volume 9, the light novel. And then last, and certainly not least, Your Forma, Volume 2. So which of these are you most excited for? For me, I'm excited for Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Geek X Hitman, Supposed Kid from the Last Boonies, Spy Family, Soma Spider, So What? What's Wrong with Being Reborn as a Goblin? Play It Cool Guys. No matter how I look at it, it's your guys' fault I'm not popular. Maison Ikoku, Kakegurui, Crazy Food Truck, Bakano, and then, of course, 86. But those are the ones I'm excited about. Which ones you're excited about? Email me, zan@spiraken.com, or tweet me at Spiraken. Let me know which ones you think of. And as usual, if you want to check out any of our earlier episodes, you can check them out at www.spiraken.com. That's SPIRAKEN. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, and various other social media sites. Just type in Spiraken in the search bar, and I'll guarantee you'll find us one way or the other. If you enjoy what you hear, you can either rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, or you can support our Patreon and help us create more fun content for you to enjoy. You should definitely like and subscribe. And for all of you who've sent me emails and just comment in general, I appreciate each and every one of your emails, messages, and everything. It gives me more motivation to keep doing this podcast, and I love doing this. I'm going to keep doing this till I'm an old man who has to read manga with a thick glasses and a magnifying glass. And to all my Patreon members, hope you guys are doing good. Stay tuned for some more fun stuff. And with that in mind, remember, we are at episode 490. We are 10 away from episode 500. So if you have ideas for what I'm going to do in episode 500, email me, zan@spiraken.com, tweet me at Spiraken, leave me a comment in the show notes, or just let me know what you want me to do for episode 500. I want a good idea. Something awesome, amazing. Maybe I'll do a live stream. Who knows? Let me know. And with that in mind, let's get to the part you have all been waiting for. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about that one, that only, the Manga! Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, except no substitute. Now, what is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it. And what I've done is I've assigned a manga title to each of the 10 slots. So I'm going to spin the Wheel of Manga. Whatever number it lands on, the manga that is in that spot is the one I'm going to review in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, episode 491. That is 9 episodes away from episode 500. So let's spin and see what we're going to review in the next episode, shall we? Number 2. So in the next episode, I'm reviewing a manga that is another isekai. But this one supposedly is going to be a lot funnier because it's about someone who does not want to be isekai'd and who's going to fight tooth and nail to not be isekai'd. And what am I talking about? I am talking about Romantic Killer by Wataru Momose. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Who knows? And I may have a guest host on that one, but we're going to have to wait and see. So as usual, I'm your host, Zan. I'm Gonzville. I'll catch you guys next time, and keep reading manga. See you later.